They took everything. We rebuilt the ultimate god-tier ship. The quantum resonance drive hummed softly through the research vessel Odyssey's hull as Captain Diana Reeves completed her evening inspection. After 2 years of deep space testing, their revolutionary propulsion system had exceeded every expectation. The drive didn't just move through space, it harmonized with it, opening up possibilities that previous generations of scientists had only dreamed about. "Captain, you might want to see this." Lieutenant James Foster's voice carried an edge that immediately caught Diana's attention. The young navigation officer rarely showed concern without cause. Diana crossed the bridge in quick strides, the subtle artificial gravity making her movements fluid and precise. "What have you found, James?" "Energy signature at Mark 347. It's massive, Captain. Nothing in our database matches it." The main view screen shifted to show a patch of seemingly empty space, but the sensor overlay told a different story. Something was there, something big enough to dwarf their research vessel. Chief Engineer Olivia Santos emerged from the lift, her dark eyes already fixed on the readings. "Those energy patterns, they're like our quantum resonance signatures, but orders of magnitude more complex." Before Diana could respond, space itself seemed to ripple and tear. A vessel materialized before them, its hull composed of what looked like liquid metal that flowed and shifted in impossible patterns. It was beautiful, alien, and terrifying all at once. "All hands to stations," Diana ordered, keeping her voice steady. "Olivia, power to defensive systems. James, plot us an escape vector." The alien vessel's response came before they could act. A beam of prismatic energy lanced out, enveloping the Odyssey in a web of light. Every system on the bridge flickered simultaneously. "We're being hailed," Communications Officer Peter Wong announced, his fingers dancing across his console. "Audio only." "Channel open," Diana commanded, straightening her uniform. The voice that filled the bridge seemed to come from everywhere at once, resonating not just through the speakers, but through the ship's very structure. "Vessel Odyssey, we are the Nexus Collective. Your quantum resonance technology has drawn our attention. Your species is not yet rated for such capabilities." Diana's jaw tightened. "This is Captain Diana Reeves. Our technology was developed independently and legally within Earth space. We have every right." "Rights," the voice interrupted, "are earned through evolutionary progress. Yours has been insufficient. We will correct this anomaly." The prismatic web surrounding the Odyssey pulsed. One by one, systems began shutting down across the ship. But more than that, Diana could feel something being extracted, pulled away at a fundamental level. "They're not just disabling us," Olivia reported, her voice tight with controlled panic. They're taking it. The quantum resonance technology. They're removing it completely." Diana watched helplessly as years of human innovation and progress were stripped away in moments. The Odyssey's revolutionary drive, the breakthrough that would have changed human space travel forever, was being erased as if it had never existed. "Why?" Diana demanded into the comm. "If you're so advanced, why steal our technology?" "Steal?" The alien voice carried a note of amusement. "We are preventing technological contamination. Your species must progress along the proper path. This is not theft. It is correction." As the last traces of the quantum resonance technology vanished, the alien vessel began to fade from view. "Your auxiliary systems will remain functional, sufficient to return to your territory. Progress at an appropriate pace, and perhaps in a few centuries, you will be ready for what you stumbled upon too soon." Diana watched helplessly as years of human innovation and progress were stripped away in moments. The Odyssey's revolutionary drive, the breakthrough that would have changed human space travel forever, was being erased as if it had never existed. "Why?" Diana demanded into the comm. "If you're so advanced, why steal our technology?" Diana watched helplessly as years of human innovation and progress were stripped away in moments. The Odyssey's revolutionary drive, The breakthrough that would have changed human space travel forever was being erased as if it had never existed. Why? Diana demanded into the comm. If you're so advanced, why steal our technology? Steal? The alien voice carried a note of amusement. We are preventing technological contamination. Your species must progress along the proper path. This is not theft. It is correction. As the last traces of the quantum resonance technology vanished, the alien vessel began to fade from view. Your auxiliary systems will remain functional, sufficient to return to your territory. Progress at an appropriate pace, and perhaps in a few centuries, you will be ready for what you stumbled upon too soon. The prismatic web dissolved. On the main screen, the alien vessel shimmered and vanished, leaving behind only fading ripples in space-time and a crew staring in stunned silence at their now crippled ship. Diana gripped the arms of her command chair, her knuckles white. The Nexus Collective had taken everything that made the Odyssey special, everything her crew had worked so hard to achieve, but they had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated human resourcefulness. Olivia. Diana called out, her voice carrying a steel edge that made her crew turn to look at her. Get me a complete damage assessment. James, log every scrap of data we recorded about their ship. Peter, I want all sensor readings of that energy web analyzed. They didn't just take our technology. They had to interface with it first. And where there's an interface, there's a way in. Olivia finished, a spark of understanding lighting her eyes. Diana nodded, a grim smile forming on her lips. They think they're teaching us our place in the universe. Instead, they just gave us our first look at their technology. Let's make it count. The Odyssey hummed wounded in space, stripped of its revolutionary drive. But as her crew sprang into action, Diana knew this wasn't an ending. The Nexus Collective thought they were containing humanity's progress. They were about to learn just how impossible that task really was. Junior engineer Raj Patel had always been the quiet one on the crew, more comfortable with code than conversation. But as the Odyssey limped through space on its auxiliary systems, his silence held a different weight. Captain, he called softly from his workstation, 3 days after the Nexus Collective's attack. There's something you need to see. Diana Reeves made her way to his station, noting the dark circles under the young engineer's eyes. None of them had slept much since the incident. What have you found, Raj? He pulled up a complex display of code, his fingers trembling slightly. I did something. When we were developing the quantum resonance drive, something unauthorized. Chief Engineer Santos joined them, her expression shifting from curiosity to intense focus as she studied the display. This is a quantum encryption algorithm, but I've never seen this architecture before. It's mine, Raj admitted. I embedded it into every system that interfaced with the drive, a backup running on its own isolated quantum processing network. I was worried about corporate espionage, about someone stealing our work. He laughed shakily. I never imagined it would be aliens. Diana leaned closer to the display. What exactly did this algorithm do? It recorded everything. Every quantum state, every resonance pattern, every interaction. When the Nexus Collective interfaced with our systems to extract the drive technology, Raj's voice grew stronger, more confident. They didn't just take our data. They exposed theirs. Olivia's eyes widened. You're saying we have a record of their quantum technology? Better than that, Raj said, typing rapidly. The algorithm didn't just record. It learned. It's been processing the data ever since they left, analyzing their methods, their capabilities. And he hesitated. Go on, Diana encouraged. Their technology, it's not just more advanced than ours. It's fundamentally different. They don't just use quantum mechanics. They manipulate the underlying fabric of reality itself. But the principles, the basic foundations. He looked up at Diana. We can understand them. We can learn from them. Lieutenant Foster joined them, drawn by the growing excitement. Can we rebuild the drive? No, Olivia answered, studying the data. We can do something better. Their interface gave us insights into quantum manipulation we never dreamed of. If we combine this with human innovation, we could surpass them, Diana finished. She straightened up, decision made. How long? Raj and Olivia exchanged looks. With the whole engineering team working on it, maybe 2 weeks to begin implementation. But Captain, Olivia hesitated. What we're talking about, it's not just rebuilding. We'd be creating something entirely new, something that merges human and alien approaches to quantum mechanics. The results would be unpredictable. Diana looked around at her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt. The Nexus Collective thinks they can dictate humanity's path of progress. Let's show them why that's a mistake. Make it happen. For the next 2 weeks, the Odyssey became a hive of focused activity. Red's algorithm continued processing the alien data, revealing new insights daily. The engineering team worked in shifts, modifying systems, rewriting code, and preparing for a transformation that none of them fully understood. They weren't just planning to restore their ship. They were about to take it somewhere no human vessel had gone before. The first sign that something extraordinary was happening came 3 days into the implementation process. Olivia Santos stood in engineering, staring at readings that should have been impossible. The quantum field is self-sustaining, she reported to Captain Reeves. But it's not stable. It's growing, evolving. The Odyssey's hull had begun to exhibit strange properties. Microscopic structures were forming and reforming, creating patterns that seemed to shift between different quantum states simultaneously. It's like the ship is learning, Raj observed, his voice filled with wonder. The quantum algorithms we implemented, they're not just running the systems, they're improving them, adapting them in ways we never programmed. Diana watched as the main bridge display flickered and transformed, becoming a 3-dimensional representation of the ship's quantum state. The image showed the Odyssey surrounded by layers of probability fields, each one shifting and adjusting in response to the space around it. Status report, she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the unprecedented situation unfolding around them. Peter Wong spoke from his communication station, his usual professional demeanor tinged with awe. Communications have evolved beyond traditional EM waves. We're developing quantum entanglement channels that could potentially transmit information instantly across any distance. Navigation systems are extraordinary, James added. The quantum field is giving us real-time information about space-time curvature. We can see distortions and potential paths that were invisible before. Olivia's voice came through the comm, excitement barely contained. Captain, the power systems are transforming. We're not just generating energy anymore. We're manipulating the quantum vacuum itself. The potential output is beyond anything in our databases. Diana moved through her transformed bridge, noting how surfaces seemed to respond to her presence, adjusting their configuration for optimal efficiency. The Odyssey wasn't just a ship anymore. It was becoming something entirely new. Any signs we've been detected? She asked. No, James replied. The quantum field is masking our signature. To conventional sensors, we probably look like background radiation. A sudden alert drew their attention. One of the engineering displays was showing a cascade of new developments. The quantum algorithms were accelerating, each advancement leading to multiple others in an exponential growth of capability. Captain, Raj called out, his voice urgent. The ship's quantum field, it's not just affecting our systems. It's starting to influence local space-time. We're creating a bubble of altered physics around the Odyssey. Diana watched as the view through the main screen shifted, space itself seeming to ripple and flow around them. They had wanted to rebuild their ship, to reclaim what was taken from them. Instead, they had created something that transcended their original goals. Raj, she said, when you created that backup algorithm, did you ever imagine it would lead to this? The young engineer shook his head, still staring at the streams of data flowing across his screen. No, Captain. But that's the difference between us And the Nexus Collective, isn't it? They see technology as something to be controlled, restricted to predetermined paths. We see it as something to explore, to push beyond established limits. Diana nodded, a smile forming as she watched her ship continue its remarkable transformation. The collective thought they were teaching us a lesson about progress. Instead, they gave us exactly what we needed to surpass them. The Odyssey hung in space, its hull now shimmering with quantum possibilities, its systems evolving in ways that defied conventional physics. They had not merely recovered from the collective's attack. They had used it as a catalyst for advancement beyond anything humanity had previously achieved. "Run a full systems check," Diana ordered. "I want to know exactly what we're capable of now. Something tells me the collective will be back, and when they come..." She paused, watching as another wave of quantum evolution rippled through her ship. "We'll be ready to show them what humanity can really do." The Odyssey's transformed bridge hummed with an energy that seemed to resonate with the crew's own heightened awareness. Captain Diana Reeves stood at the central command station, watching as her ship continued to evolve in ways that pushed the boundaries of known physics. "Quantum field stability at 120%, Olivia reported from engineering. "The ship isn't just maintaining the field anymore, it's improving it." Lieutenant Foster manipulated the new navigation controls, which responded to both touch and thought. "Spatial awareness extends to a radius of 3 light-years now. We're picking up quantum echoes of every significant mass in the sector." "Including that?" Diana asked, pointing to a disturbance at the edge of their sensor range. The main display zoomed in on the anomaly, revealing ripples in space-time that matched their records of Nexus Collective signatures. They weren't alone anymore. "Multiple vessels," Peter confirmed from communications. "Their quantum signatures matched the ship that attacked us, but..." He paused, double-checking his readings. "They're more powerful. Much more powerful." Diana smiled grimly. "They must have detected our quantum evolution. Time to show them what we've learned." She opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill." The Odyssey's response was immediate and extraordinary. The quantum field surrounding the ship shifted into complex defensive patterns, creating layers of probability shields that could predict and deflect attacks before they were even launched. "Weapons systems online," James reported. "Though weapons might not be the right word anymore. We're capable of generating targeted quantum state changes that could reconfigure matter at the subatomic level." "Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Diana said. "Our goal isn't destruction. It's understanding." The Nexus Collective ships emerged from quantum space like predators, their liquid metal hulls gleaming with barely contained power. 5 vessels, each larger than the one that had originally attacked them, arranged themselves in an attack formation. "They're hailing us," Peter announced. Diana nodded. "Open a channel." The voice that filled the bridge was familiar, but now tinged with something new. "Concern. Vessel Odyssey, you have exceeded your designated technological parameters by an unacceptable margin. Your quantum signature indicates violations of multiple development protocols." "This is Captain Reeves," Diana responded calmly. "Your attempt to restrict our development had an unexpected result. We'd be happy to discuss the implications." "Discussion is unnecessary. Your species has demonstrated precisely why technological progression must be controlled. Stand down and prepare for complete systems purge." The collective ships began powering up their weapons, their quantum signatures flaring with deadly purpose. But Diana wasn't worried. The Odyssey had evolved far beyond what their enemies could imagine. "All hands," she commanded, "show them what human innovation really means." The battle that followed would redefine the possibilities of space combat. The collective ships launched attacks that could have shattered planets, but the Odyssey's quantum shields shifted probability itself, making it impossible for the attacks to connect with their target. The research vessel's response was elegant in its simplicity. Instead of attacking directly, they used their evolved systems to create localized areas of altered physics. The collective ships found their weapons refusing to function. their quantum drives stuttering as fundamental constants shifted around them. "We don't have to fight," Diana broadcast to the increasingly frustrated alien vessels. "We can learn from each other." The response was another barrage of attacks, each one failing more spectacularly than the last. The Odyssey danced through space, its movements guided by both human intuition and quantum computation, demonstrating a level of control that the collective had never imagined possible. "Their shields are adapting," Olivia reported, "but not fast enough. Our quantum field is evolving faster than their defenses can compensate." Diana watched as the collective ships began to realize the full implications of what they faced. This wasn't just a technological advancement. It was an entirely new approach to quantum manipulation, one that merged human creativity with the fundamental forces of the universe. "Send them our sensor data," she ordered. "Let them see exactly what they helped create." As the battle reached its crescendo, the Odyssey stood not as a victim of technological theft, but as proof that humanity's greatest strength lay not in the technology itself, but in how they chose to use it. The stage was set for a final confrontation that would change both species forever. The quantum space around the Odyssey rippled with potential as the Nexus collective ships processed the sensor data they'd been sent. Diana could almost feel their confusion, their rigid worldview struggling to comprehend what humanity had achieved. "Their weapons are powering down," James reported, surprise evident in his voice. They're requesting to send a representative aboard." Diana exchanged glances with her bridge crew. This was the opportunity they'd been waiting for. "Accept their request. Olivia, Raj, join me in the conference room." The being that materialized in their conference room defied conventional description. Its form shifted between states of matter, a visual representation of quantum uncertainty given consciousness. When it spoke, its voice resonated through multiple dimensions of spacetime. "You have achieved something unprecedented," the entity stated. "Our analysis indicates your quantum evolution has exceeded our own understanding in several key areas." "Because you view technology as something to be controlled," Diana responded. "We see it as something to be explored, to be combined with our creativity and intuition." The entity's form shimmered with what might have been curiosity. "Your ship's quantum field. It exhibits properties we believed impossible. It learns, adapts, grows in ways our most advanced systems cannot match." Raj stepped forward, his earlier shyness forgotten in the face of scientific discovery. "That's because we didn't try to control the quantum algorithms. We let them evolve naturally, guided by human insight rather than rigid protocols. The combination of human creativity and quantum mechanics," Olivia added, "created something greater than the sum of its parts. Your attack didn't stop our progress, it catalyzed it." The entity was silent for a long moment, its form cycling through complex patterns as it processed this information. "This challenges the fundamental premises of our oversight mission. For millennia, we have guided species' technological development, ensuring safe and controlled progression. But true progress isn't always safe or controlled," Diana said. "Sometimes it requires taking risks, thinking differently, combining ideas in ways that seem impossible. We are beginning to understand this," the entity acknowledged. "Your response to our intervention, it suggests our approach may be fundamentally flawed. Perhaps there is something to be learned from human methodology." The conference room's quantum field pulsed as the entity interfaced more deeply with the Odyssey systems. "Your ship's evolution continues even now. It is not merely adapting to current conditions. It is anticipating future possibilities, exploring potential quantum states that our technology cannot predict." Diana smiled. "That's the human element. We're always looking forward, imagining what could be rather than accepting what is." "We propose an exchange," the entity said finally. "Not of technology, but of philosophy. Your species has demonstrated an approach to quantum mechanics that we had not considered possible. In return for sharing your insights, we offer access to our accumulated knowledge." "Knowledge freely shared," Diana specified, not restricted or controlled. Agreed. Perhaps this is the next stage of evolution for both our species. As the entity began sharing preliminary data, Diana watched her crew's eyes light up with new possibilities. The Nexus Collective had sought to restrict humanity's progress, but in doing so, they had sparked a revolution in human-alien relations. The Odyssey hung in space between the two fleets, its quantum field harmonizing with both human and alien technology. It stood as a symbol not just of human ingenuity, but of what was possible when different approaches to understanding the universe worked in harmony. "Send word to Earth," Diana ordered as the entity returned to its ship. Tell them that humanity's next great adventure is just beginning." The quantum space around them sparkled with potential as human and alien ships prepared to embark together on an unprecedented journey of discovery. The Nexus Collective had tried to teach humanity its place in the universe. Instead, they had learned that sometimes the best teachers are those willing to become students again.